Trees are biological organisms. They grow from seeds. They take in water and carbon dioxide. They produce oxygen. These facts are biological. But what counts as a tree, how it is classified, and what it means to people are not purely biological. These aspects are social. There is no single definition of a tree that clearly separates it from a shrub. The distinction is made using features like height, trunk thickness, and growth pattern. These criteria vary between contexts. The label tree is a category used in everyday language. It feels obvious, but it is based on convention, not nature. Trees carry different meanings depending on social context. In environmental policy, they may represent sustainability. In urban planning, they may be obstacles or design features. In religious practices, they may be sacred. In forestry, they are treated as units of production. These meanings are not in the tree itself. They are given to it by people.
When the first settlers arrived in this great country, they had only a few uses for the vast forests they found here. They built their log cabin homes with the trees they found, constructed furniture, implements, and utensils, and they used wood for fuel. Not many ways of using wood, but those few were vitally important. If they hadn't been, there wouldn't have been an America.
Throughout our land, the once beautiful forests such as this have become scenes of desolation. The timber is gone, and so is the wild game which once was sheltered beneath its shade.
Even the grouping of trees involves social construction. A single tree may be called a tree. A group of trees may be called a wood or a forest. The difference between these terms is not a natural one. It depends on how many trees there are, how close together they are, and how people in a particular society have decided to classify them. These distinctions are made through language, culture, and law. There is also a difference between a tree that grows naturally and one that is planted. A tree planted by a council in a park is understood differently than a tree growing in what is called a wild or unmanaged space. The idea of nature itself is structured by human decisions about where things belong, how they grow, and what roles they serve. The social meaning of trees is reinforced through policy, architecture, and symbolism. Trees are used in public memorials, on national flags, in school curricula, and in campaigns about climate change. They are seen as signs of life, strength, memory, and resistance. These meanings do not come from the biology of trees. They are given to trees by society. Meanings are produced through social interaction, and they become taken for granted. This is how social construction works. They begin as human interpretations and become part of what people experience as the way things are. A tree is never just a tree. It is always understood through systems of classification, value, and use. These systems vary across societies and can change over time. In short, the tree is a biological object, but the way the tree is perceived, named, grouped, protected, or removed is shaped by social processes. That is what it means to say that even something as apparently natural as a tree is socially constructed. We can say the same of gravity. Physically, Gravity exists as a measurable force pulling objects together. But our understanding of gravity, what it means, how we interpret it, how we understand it, and how we interact around it, is social. The concept of gravity itself emerged historically as societies developed ways to understand and predict their environment. The meaning attributed to gravity shifted human thought, enabling science and technology to reshape society.
The clock on the wall. On the 7th day of December 1941, it struck the 11th hour. Every hour after that has been, will be, 0 hour. Pray God he also has the time. Time, the most vital natural resource of a country at war. Every tick of the clock is time won or lost. Every 60-minute sweep, every 12-hour tour of those relentless hands is turning out carload lots of time for us to use ourselves or to give away to the enemy.
Time demonstrates an even clearer example of social construction. While we experience time passing, the idea of measuring it precisely in minutes, hours and seconds is entirely a human invention. Societies organise themselves around calendars and clocks, turning time into a resource that can be saved, wasted or spent. Different cultures conceptualise time differently. Some view it as linear, constantly progressing forward, while others understand it as cyclical, repeating and renewing. These interpretations shape not just how we experience our days, but how entire societies structure their economies, religions and personal lives. Both gravity and time exist simultaneously as physical phenomena and as social constructions. Their meaning and conceptual existence is deeply dependent upon human social interaction. If the existence of trees, gravity and time as social categories relies on social construction, then the case for classifications such as race, gender and anything else we interact around become obvious. On the surface, gender seems naturally tied to biology, but it is clearly socially constructed. Society assigns roles, behaviours and expectations based on gender, influencing how people perceive and define themselves and others. These roles differ across culture and history, highlighting their socially negotiated nature. The concept of gender relies upon social interaction for its existence. It is socially constructed. So too, race appears biological, yet as a concept, it relies entirely upon social definition and categorization. Societies assign meaning to physical differences, creating racial categories that vary across culture and history. Race is socially constructed. Nothing that humans interact with and define escapes these basic principles. If we define and assign meaning to a thing through social interaction, then that thing is, by definition, socially constructed. And if a thing is socially constructed, then the definitions, meanings and consequences we give to it could have been different. That is not to say that the socially constructed nature of a thing means that it does not exist. Socially constructed phenomena are very real. If people define situations as real, they are real in their consequences. Gender is real because it has consequence. Race is real because it has consequence. Gravity, time and trees as conceptions are real because they have consequence. But what a thing is, at least on one level, depends upon the definitions and meanings we attach to it.